Hey Clear Lake peeps, Ross England here, Clear Lake Guide Service with your Clear Lake report for May 18th, 2023. I'm going to do two reports actually. This first one is just going to be conditions, and then probably tomorrow I'm going to post a little bit more information about the fishing because there's enough to talk about to where it's like, why not? I don't want to just blow it off, and that way if you guys don't want to listen to it, you don't have to. So the conditions, starting with water temperature, starting out in the morning here in Lakeport is 63, 64 degrees, getting up to 70 by this time of day, which is late, mid-afternoon. Water clarity really is depends on where you are. The last spot that we were fishing in, I could see 7 feet, but there was all kinds of stuff floating on the surface, so it was hard to see that deep. If you got a little clear spot, then you could see down there. So other areas, 2.5 to 3 foot of clarity. And by clarity, I'm talking about an area that, you could clearly see what's on the bottom, not just tell that bottom is there. So, and I'm sure if I was down south, there'd be some 8 to 9 foot visibility. Anything else on water? Little bit of algae blooms here and there, but they're really small and they're very localized. Like if you go over into Nice as an example, that water's a little bit more clouded up, and I don't know whether to attribute it to carp activity that have stirred stuff up or just algae, because it warmed up fast this past week. We went from 70s, high 60s, 70s to high 80s. I think it's supposed to be 90 today. So anytime that happens that quickly, stuff happens, this water starts to boil. So let's see, lake level actually has dropped. I don't know if they had a leak at the dam or if they're actually letting a little bit more water out, but we're down to 7.5 again, which is full. Lake's dropped about 0.2 of a foot over the last week. And again, I was looking at the information coming out of the dam that suggests that that's where it's coming from. So supposedly they can't let a whole lot of water out, but a lot of water can leak. So that kind of explains that. Upcoming activities: Saturday there's a New Gen team tournament going out of 5th Street, Lakeport, and then Sunday is a BASS Federation event. Don't know where they're going out of. Honestly, the fishing pressure up here has not been spring-like for Clear Lake at all. And a big part of it is just because people are having a hard time catching fish. So this week should have changed a lot of that for a number of you. Fishing pressure is real light, but if you start getting around now, the last couple of days we've actually started experiencing being able to just go through an area and make casts and catch fish, whether it's off of docks or off of Thule lines or Thule islands, or out in front of areas that have trees in them. So most of the fish that we're catching are spawning fish. And just to give you an idea of how the bite has changed for me, I made no bones about how bad it's been for me. Starting Thursday last week, 10 fish. Friday, 10 fish. Saturday, 10 fish. Monday, 20 fish. Tuesday, 18 fish. Today, 27 fish. So again, I don't want to say that the bite is really on, but because I like fishing for spawning fish. It's just something I really enjoy doing. I look forward to it every year, and it's finally pretty much gotten started. But just moving around while we're looking, free casting, just throwing a bait here, throwing a bait there. Every once in a while a fish picks it up, and whether it came off a bed or not, who knows. The point is just a random cast and you're catching a fish. number of people have asked about crappie. The crappie, you know, I've seen probably 5 or 6 different areas where there are still crappie on beds. Some of them are kind of ornery as well as being on beds. I mean, they'll chase down a bait and they don't care, you know, that there's not bass at all. They just think they are bass. Other good news is today I actually saw some areas that had red ears in them and bluegill. So, you know, it's really this, since the last report, this has been the first time that I really have been on the lake. The fishing was better. The lake looks healthy and alive. I still am not seeing a whole lot of short fish. We haven't caught a fish under 2 pounds, and for the most part, I probably have only seen 10 or 15 fish that are under 13 or 14 inches as we've gotten around the lake. So that is going to be your report for this week. And like I said, I'm probably going to post another report to talk a little bit about just some of the fishing and what's going on. So let's call this happy days, and hopefully it stays this way for at least another month or so. We'll see you next week, peeps.